returned with our selections. Although I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mrs. Cryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking to research papers on the Umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source.
Ascian? Heidelin Ascian? Heidelin Ascian.
That is my theory. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amaranth firsthand. In fear, I may be overlooking the critical details. It could be not an unsundered. They would have to be sundered. A sundered, Heidelin-sided Ascian. My thinks. Now, where to begin? If it's not that, or some other Ascian, then I don't know. First things first, which kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Complete destabilization of creation magics. I don't think that was a thing. Primal's of unrivaled power were summoned from the ether. That is true. The worst kind of phenomena you can imagine. Primals of unrivaled power. Ahem. I believe Heidelin and Zodiac were summoned after the final days as well. Very deliberately, in fact. Yes. How could I forget? If we are speaking of phenomena caused by the final days, the chaos of creation magics run rampant. So it comes to mind. Fear and despair manifested in terrible. Oh yeah. How could I forget? Oh my god, a tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. I didn't know that was creation magics though. I thought it was just stuff happening. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on, which still surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Ascians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? Oh. Alpha, no, you can answer this one. Yes, because I don't know. The entire star was engulfed by disaster, all at once. They say it began with a keening sound from the lamp itself. The entire star was engulfed by a disaster, all at once. I think you may misremembering. As I recall, it was more of a gradual spread. Dang, I look stupid in front of my friends multiple times. No. The Amaranth tonight spoke of a keening sound that rose from the land itself just before our region was visited by catastrophe. Whoa, the light changed. We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course. Thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. Okay, I don't feel as bad then. So the ground was crying out, you say. To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive and probably quite loud. With the final boss from there, I forget. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's Mehmets and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiac. They knocked Dalaman from the sky. No, they summoned Heidelin. They summoned Zodiac. Oh, snap, I knew a thing. Yes, with Elidibus serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiac brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will, the laws of nature set aright. Then once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Life sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls that intended to render unto Zodiac a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had been not, and her followers not manifested opposition in the form of Heidelin. Oh yeah, I forgot about her. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. You see what they're doing with those towers of theirs is forcing people to some primal as a kind of catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by the unstable creation magics? Are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We shall keep an eye out for Gistola, but it is time we began studying these research papers. I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Orion J. learned of the source's reflection from the Garoon oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. It's even less likely that knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It's in their mind, it's in their brain. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be the Archons or counselors, should be forced by largely ignorant of the subject. Or not. They don't know anything. Yet when you confronted Master Fortuno with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. More lore. Yes. I'll take it. You labor for what feels like an age as you stole his research assistant. Oh dear, you look exhausted, but what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subject I mentioned? And the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mamma at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. In a moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. You will be occupied with the research for quite some time. Boots.
I don't have space for all this stuff. Boy.
Seat at the last stand. Alice appears in desperate need of a study break. Ready for tea break, Zeno? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You last stand down there in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. As busy as ever, I see how very Charlian that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the scene? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telophoroi. Might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? I doubt that average citizens know anything about this. Hello. What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You must understand, sir, we're simply wondering if you knew of the Telophoroi, his enemies of peace have promised the end of the world, for all we hold dear, and... Wait, you're that House Levier girl, do you? Aren't you? Goddamn. And this man with you is obviously a foreigner. Heard you were disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims. Here you are, giving truth to the rumor. Thank you to leave me be, not to say the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Clumsy. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on Lafroy and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Levier. My apologies, but I work in the offices of the forum. If words reach Master Fortuno that I was hoping you... I see. I'm sorry to have bothered you. Dickon. I have no idea. Oh, cutscene. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Oh, wait. Is that Mr. Salisbury I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, the owner of the Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion between lessons at the studio. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and Master Alphino had set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Earlier there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything alright at home? It's complicated. I haven't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Levier. No matter how discreet Master Fortuno may have been, news of your family's doings never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now, of all times? You have questions, and only Charlian has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon. Have you heard anything about the apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. That's what you're here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I was there. I wish there was more I could do to help. ... He knows things. But maybe there is. Your visitor. Charlene, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server, none the wiser. We're just preparing a few orders, strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food. You might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea, I hate to ask, but what do you think? I feel like everyone's like in the secret society and no one's allowed to talk about anything. Like Fight Club. That's the spirit. Pay attention now, and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. The tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. The omelet is for the one for regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind them, you should see a Makoti gentleman. He's ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. I think so. I hope so. This should be the oven-baked lobster. No, omelet. There's a Highlander, right? Are you a Highlander? You look like a Highlander. Here's an omelet. Excuse me, I didn't order this. Where's my tea set? Oh. My mistake. Here's your tea set. Oh, my tea set. Lovely. Thank you. Lava who? I'm sorry. I've never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. If you wanted to hear about the ritual arcane practices of the 6th actual era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off. Oh, okay. Aha, you are the... You must be the omelet person. You're a Highlander, right? I think. Ah, finally, 2468. Let's dig in. No time to waste. I'm chatting. What? That's the lawful right. Ah, yes. I remember seeing that name in the latest Gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old senseless warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The forum made the right choice. I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Urban banter with a smile? I banter with you. What say you? You don't need to butter me up, you know. I've already ordered one of those expensive things on the menu. My tip. Unfortunate. Oven baked lobster. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine. You have no idea how long I've scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish. That's a huge freaking thing for one dude. Final days? This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a gleaner. Gleaner? What's that? You don't know what a gleaner is. They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world carrying things that we haven't got here in Charlie. Priceless books, unusual life specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is the most meticulous and demanding profession. If these Slothfry make good on their audacious threats, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would the gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor, and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in front of the docks all day. Never been this hectic before. Not like this. Yeah. What do you have to eat? You got like a... What is that? Don't mind me just standing up here. It looks like a pretzel or something. Like a caramel shape. And your friend here has got a huge freaking lobster. What is this? You got an entire like course, main course, appetizer. You got your desserts there, and then your friend got an omelet. Any trouble with customers? Were you able to get anyone talking? Yeah, something about a gleaner, being very hectic, getting stuff. Interesting, they seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the gazettes are printing. Even Dickon has nothing to offer. He's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job in ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In that case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here's that cup of coffee I promised. Guess there isn't a secret society. But let's enjoy our drinks somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind this thing, away from the gossip and their wagging tongues. Yes, this should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Oh my god, this is like the worst time for my camera to be dying. Oh god.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant.
Dang, it's so perfect that it's snowing now, too. I don't know if it's supposed to happen. It really fits.
Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian?
Mood.
Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, How being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently.
But those we have lost, and for those we must save. That is why. There's the cleaners coming in with their stuff. In an underground passageway that we can probably sneak into.
They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual?
Exactly.
I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum.
Oh, snap.
If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Labyrinthine Descent. LSA is excited to share your revelations. We should tell the others what we've learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead, Numenon. I'll join you in a moment. Master Deacon wants his cups back. Welcome back, Xeno. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Makes sense. Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. Sudden and significant increase in Gleaner traffic and in cargo certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Stola observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Xeno and LSA learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Australians know nothing of the particular period of ancient history. Keyword, most. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by a duty of such pressing importance that they saw fit to unanimously deny Eorze's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it's a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service to the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos, assess the situation for ourselves. If we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book, find an idea. What can we expect down there, Gryle? Oh, I would hate to spoil the surprise. Of course. Of course. As for myself, there are a few more subjects that I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. I think that Kryle calls him Raha. But no one else does. Let's head down to the stairs over there. I'll show you where the entrance is.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky.
Underground?
In any age exist those who consider the floor
This is
an
a
extension of their
huge thing
bookshelves.
underground.
And this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation.
Surely it has to be
Knowledge
tied to
buried
essence,
beneath
somehow.
knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Why would they have Emmett narrating? New first zone. First zone. Labyrinthos. Very relaxing music.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
That's crazy.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
That's crazy.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Secret gleaner.
Let's spread out and get some
for
answers then.
business.
Ugh.
Your echo? Kyle's echo? Maybe?
Did you call to me just now?
Oh? Is Hydaelyn talking
No.
now?
How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent.
That's not good.
I'll be
sign.
fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall
I
we?
am sure you aren't fine. I am very sure you're not fine. They always say that when they're not fine. They always say that. Anvil, what do you got? You here to help or give me more headaches? Because you don't have the look of a gleaner. I'm in no mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates and the pack of marmots running loose. The exchange with Ernville has taught you about exhausted gleaners. Let me think. The rare seeds should be item 1058. Human seeds 1059. Snurble berries 1060. Or are they 61? Oh. Ooh, rough. My head hurts. Feels like I'm stuffed with local grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? We'll do all this at once and risk messing it up. What if someone mistakes it? Earthen carrots for the Garabanian carrots. What then? Your exchange with a thief has taught you about large shipments coming in and out of Labyrinthos. Dobbin. cracked open. You want to know what I'm doing? Hauling books, and ore, and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos, you know. Sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They just did one a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped into our laps. Orders from on high. Damned if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? Preparing for the next big expansion. Steve was up and has told you about taking stock in Labyrinthos. So this grand operation began without warning. For every item they bring in, they're sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. We were right. The Forum is definitely up to something, and they're turning Labyrinthos upside down in the process. What if Charlian is not worried about the end of this world because they're doing what their founder did and is somehow gonna make like a spaceship and get everyone in Charlian to the moon? They're gonna get them to the moon like their founder got everyone on a boat and teleported them away. They're going to the moon. That has to be it. That has to be it. If it's not it, I will be slightly disappointed. Corral appears lost in thought. You do well to learn more of what specifically the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. For your games, you know, I have an idea. Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help him capture such creatures, you might be inclined towards a more friendly and enlightening conversation. Hope so. He didn't seem like a very friendly, in the mood type of guy right now. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We will compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting. You do that now. You're just to help me find the marmots. I'm nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I welcome the assistance. I got you. I got you. Your name is Ernville, friend, specialist in the collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Nexian marmots is a trial I've no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. For mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in this sack. Gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so we'll need to widen our search into surrounding forests. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot, or you. I'm fine. I got Eos. Eos will keep me healed. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck. How did you fare? Tracked down 3 of the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. Dang! You are an expert at your job. I only caught 1. Squirming rat sack. The sack holds the plump, wriggling form of one greatly annoyed, grizzled mouse. Here you go. There's the odd marmot out. Wait, here's a moment while I put our friends in a holding cage. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. We've held up well in isolation, and it was not too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. Who tasked you to capture them in the first place? What will you do with the marmots now? Who tasked you to capture them? There's the form, but can I get a name? By the authority in charge of Labyrinthos, now in perpetuity. Same officials who've had us working day in and night of late. The honorable members of the forum. Who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Those who were the conditions I was given to stock and was instructed to procure. don't know what the form has planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. It said, suitable for consumption and easy to breed. Were the conditions? They have to be bringing them to the moon. You can eat them, easy to breed, because it's going to be hard to get anything from Eorzea. They're taking them to the moon. At the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. There you are, Zeno. Is this the gleaner you mentioned? The one who was looking for lost marmots? Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk anyways? Yes, you take it away, Kral. I am Kral of the students of Baldessian. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hope that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Other animals to capture and close to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? They want easy to breed, suitable for consumption. We confirm that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the forum. However, the gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I say that it fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discover when the operation was begun. The forum contacted the Gleaners Guild ship and put their people to this great work for some 4 days after Telophrite made their chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners have kept abreast of every corner of the world out of necessity. Thus, I am inclined to trust that their calendar of events is accurate. Altogether, it gives a distinct impression that the undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this plan was long in the making. They were but awaiting the right time to put it into effect. And the Telophrite's declaration was what set it all in motion? Question mark. Seems likely. Let's not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archeon? From there, we can reach the lower... It's only happening to Cryle? I'm fine, truly. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. Please allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archeon. Follow the path east. Through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse, or marmot was it? Now wait, 'tis the trolls you need to watch out for.